What were your takeaways from having experienced what really was the Great Recession?
I think the biggest thing that I saw is people were overspending. And my dad always told me to put away money from the beginning. Your paycheck does not mean that that's yours. 20% of it right away is the IRS's. So 20% off the top always went straight to a tax savings account. And then I always had another percentage go to savings. So I was able to financially write it out. And so I think that was my biggest takeaway is I saw so many agents brand new into the business. And if they made $20,000, 1 month, they now said they made $20,000 a month, even though they'd only done it once. So therefore they spent based off making $20,000 a month. And at the end of the day, I think being an agent is probably the only career where you're unemployed every single morning that you wake up. And so what happened last month or yesterday or the week before or whatever has no bearing on what the future holds. So you have to protect yourself for that.
Gosh, we should all stop and meditate on that for a minute because, I mean, there is so much wisdom in what you just said, and a lot of people do miss that. I believe people get into real estate for what I call the 3 F's: the freedom, the flexibility, and the financial rewards.
Mm-hmm.
Most get the first two, and then they wonder why the third one doesn't really happen, right? So what would your advice be to realtors who are maybe just getting new in the business and going forward? How would you encourage them, or what would you suggest they do to get into the investment game?
Yeah, I love that question because it's something I'm very passionate about. For one, I'd say do it as soon as you can. There's no reason to wait. Not only for the investment purpose yourself, but if you've never bought a house, I think you have a totally different perspective when you're trying to guide people to buying a house. Two, I think your best first investment, and I should have done it then, but is a multifamily. If you can buy something and then you can rent out the other units and have them pay for yourself, especially with real estate that might have a few more highs and lows than others and not the consistent income. If you could at least get your mortgage paid for by the other units that you're renting, there's just no reason not to. But two, as an agent, you have first access to every single bit of real estate. I think it was actually Ben Kinney that I listened to, but he basically said there should be no good deals on the market. Like they shouldn't exist because us as the professionals should have bought them. We should have noticed that they were good deals and bought them before they ever hit the market. And that's 100% true. We have that, insight into everything that's going on in the market. Actually, 3 of my rentals were listing appointments that I took that I went on. And I mean, you have to be very fair and you have to be very honest and give them all the details and give them the pros and cons of you purchasing it or listing it. But for a lot of people, they don't have to put it on the market. It's a faster transaction. They know it's going to close. Usually there's some sort of ease of negotiation. And my people I let them live there until we bought a new house. So now they didn't have to buy contingent. So there's a lot of things that it provides. Plus it usually gives you a better deal too. Tax-Free Wealth is like I love that book. The Win, Make, Give series that Ben Kinney had, that's another one. And that really did, I think, it really was a catalyst over the last couple of years to really accelerate a lot of my net worth gains and my wealth goals. Taking advantage of the cost segregation study, tax loopholes. I set aside a certain amount of money for taxes, and then I set aside for investments. So if I'm able to purchase an investment with my investment money, but completely save my tax account money by not having to pay taxes that year using different strategies, I now have doubled the ability for me to either double down on my investments and or start paying things off to start seeing more cash flow. And so it's really doubled down on my strategies for wealth building. So it's something that I wish everybody would start paying attention to because it's a lot easier to save money you've already made than it is to try to go out and make more money. So if you can take advantage of the money you already have, might as well.
Well, and what you're talking about here is absolutely legal, right? I mean,
100%, yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that, the government uses taxation to influence the way their populace behaves. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is if they don't want you to do something, they tax the crap out of you.
Yeah.
And if they want you to do something, they give you a tax credit or a tax break, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as real estate professionals, there are opportunities for us to be able to take advantage of that. And certainly people need to plug in and learn how to do that.
Yeah. Amazing opportunities.